Jeremy Poplin with Thunder Breakdown.
All right, as we get set to start, Thunder Breakdown here with approximately 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Oklahoma City is clinging to a 4-point lead right now versus the Indiana Pacers. Make that a 2-point lead as Indiana just continues to find a way to hang around. Welcome in. My name is Jeremy Poplin. Thank you for joining us on the News 9 YouTube page. Also streaming live on the X format as well via News 9. Joe is hanging out with us here off the early stages. We've got a cast and crew. I sent out so many links and so many invitations with people. I think we have more feedback from people tonight trying to hop on tonight's stream, rightfully so, with it being a game number 7. And I don't know how you feel, Joe, like as hyped as I was for the game, and I'm still hyped because there's still a championship that's on the line, and I think it's fascinating to see how both teams kind of respond to everything that's happened. But I hate seeing injuries like that. I can't. I hate it. I hate that for Halliburton. I hate that just for the sport. I hate it for the game because I think you want to see competition at its peak. I'm not a fan of the NBA schedule by any means. These guys play from October all the way through almost July. There's only so many reps that the human body can take, and I think that we're pushing the limits of that in sports in general with so many different things. Maybe I'm off on a little bit of a tangent here off the top. I just hate that for the sport of basketball that we had to be witness to that, and it just sucks for Tyrese Halliburton as well.
No, sucks is the right word. Shea used that in his presser after Game 6 for different reasons. No, it's terrible. You absolutely want to see the best going against the best. And I was so surprised at how well Halliburton looked in Game 6 after the speculation that his leg wasn't 100%. And it's terrible. He knew it immediately. Both teams got shook. The game is still tight because Indiana, I mean, they're here for a reason. But I think it definitely both teams are going to have to adjust without having, arguably, one of the best players in the world on the other side.
Well,
it's not, it's a terrible injury, and I think he's been dogging it for 2 weeks, and it finally caught up to him, and it's a shame to see any athlete, suffer an injury like that.
I saw this stat earlier today, Joe, and it is that the Pacers have 8 players averaging double-digit points in the NBA Finals. That would be the most ever. So if there is a team that is built to, and you hate to say overcome your biggest star's injury in a moment like this, but they at least have shown that they have a very deep bench with guys that are capable of picking up here in the absence of Tyrese Halliburton, and they're just kind of hanging around. The one question I have now for the Thunder, as Matt Kalish joins us, is it looked like that they were having a little bit of trouble kind of adjusting to the entire scene of Game 7 where the Thunder kind of, stressing at certain points, rightfully so, I guess, in a moment like this for Game 7. But, they've got to figure out how to win in a moment like this when the Pacers are wounded emotionally and physically.
Yeah, first off, great to be with you, gentlemen. Had to dig out the old link out of my email here. And I found it, which is good. But, man, just a bummer of a first half so far, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not just the Halliburton injury, but this is not the game I expected the Thunder to play. They honestly look flat. They don't look like a team that ran the table in the West this year. And Indiana looks like the team that took down Boston and the Knicks and, made that run to get where they're at. And you got to hope Mark makes adjustments at half because, y'all, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Yeah, it's a little – I think you're right. The stat that I still marvel at coming into this game was the fact that Indiana, on average, have 50 more passes per game through the finals than what the Thunder did. Total number of passes in the series, it wasn't even close. And here we are back to more of a version of just heavy ISO ball that we've seen from the Thunder here in the early stages, where a couple of ragged shots. They've had a few open looks, but they haven't been killing it from 3 by any means. Now they have another turnover here. They did cut down on the turnovers. That's easy to do when you have 21 in Game 6. They were forcing a few, but they still just look completely out of sorts, not only on the defensive end, but offensive end.
And part of me wonders, is that just an inexperienced group? Is that your cobweb still from Game 6. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's not the team we've seen all year.
There's a part of me that thinks overall numbers, defensive rating, Indiana has climbed above of Oklahoma City through the finals. A lot of this is just what Indiana is able to do in terms of forcing things on the Thunder, but it will be very intriguing to see how they respond here in the second half. Chloe Abbott is joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This time not on an airplane. Chloe, where are you now?
I'm at a friend's house. I'm actually watching from the pool. I'm at the pool, and the setup is actually really cool. I don't know if I can show it, if you can see right there. But I am like out in the pool watching at a pool house. Well, at someone's house, but I just wanted to hop on because we're just hanging out. But yeah, this game is disappointing. Matt Kalish, from what you were saying, and Jeremy, I agree. I don't even know that much about basketball, but the Thunder is not doing well on offense or defense. Like, they need to make more shots, and they're losing the ball more, and and the Pacers are doing really well even without Halliburton, which I thought was going to be it for them. But I mean, they're fighting hard, and maybe it was that video of the buses that was released early that's got them pumped up. But it's like kind of scary. All game has been really close.
First of all, I got to get more friends like you, Chloe, because the outdoor screen and the setup with the pool. I mean, I've lived here for a long time. You've been here all of like 5 minutes. It feels like you've already made a friend with a pool and a TV that's attached to that pool cabana out there. Can we just speak on the buses for a moment? So for those that don't know, a video leaked out on social media from it looked like inside the Paycom Center, and they were putting the wraps on the buses that said 2025 NBA Finals champions for the Thunder because they are potentially preparing for a parade. I'm sorry, but you don't invite hundreds of thousands of people to any type of environment in one setting for a celebration without having a plan. Every team that's in the playoffs has some version of a plan before they even go in. So we can use this as bulletin board material all that we want, but yes, you're going to plan in case of a championship, especially when you make it this far in the season. And I'm willing to bet there's a Pacers bus in a barn somewhere up in Indianapolis that they're starting the early stages of putting the wrap on it right now.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that, and you can't see my screen anymore because I'm frozen, but I agree with that, but maybe the Pacers are using that, and I don't know, people are upset, but I do agree with what you're saying. The Pacers probably have one ready too.
It's that chlorine that's in the air from the pool that you're right there. It's messing with your video feed right now.
Yes.
That's for sure. Joe, I get the sense here that I don't think it'll be tense in the Thunder locker room because I just don't think Mark is that guy. I do think that he's very measured in the approach that he has, but with 37 seconds left, I would love to kind of be a fly on the wall inside the Thunder locker room at halftime.
Well, if there was ever been a switch, Mark is very calculated and measured. What's up, Matt Kalish? But if there was ever a switch that he has that they could turn, this is it. You know what I mean? We talked about, all these games being the most important games of their lives. Well, this second half certainly is. They have been tight. I felt like Shea, too much ISO, too much dribbling, and not the right shots. He knows the right shots to take because he makes those. The ones he misses, they aren't the good ones. I'm impressed by Indiana, but we know what this Thunder team has. We haven't seen it. It is passing, but this is going to be these next 24 are going to be like a lot different basketball than we've seen. This is going to be a grind to grind. So depth, fouls, free throws, that's what it's going to come down to. And I'm glad we're at home.
John Holcomb is scheduled to try to join us from inside the Paycom Center. I will say this. If there's any glass left in the building from that last note that Kristen Chenoweth held for the national anthem, my goodness. I thought my TV was going to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
She killed it. Broken Arrow's own. Just no notes.
I'm using that in the 8 a.m. tomorrow for sure. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that she would kill it. I don't know. About, I don't know, 3 seconds into holding that note, I was like, oh my gosh, like she is going for it.
Acapella, no music, nothing, just her. Beautiful.
Raven Ray sings like that, I'm told. She's got those pipes.
Very angelic voice.
So Chloe's hanging out by a pool. Raven, you're in a different country, aren't you?
Not yet. At midnight, I will be.
At midnight. Okay. All right. Where are you headed off to at midnight?
Dominican Republic.
All right. Well, you're a better person than I am, because if I was headed off to the Dominican Republic, the chances of me being on this stream tonight would be slim and none. So
I mean, I've been
give
on
you
all
credit
of
for
them,
that.
so I felt like I should get on.
Total bass player, Raven Ray.
Yeah, no doubt. I am submitting you for that the minute that we get back. By the way, a massive 3 right before the halftime buzzer to give the Pacers a lead here going in at halftime. I see John Holcomb jumping on the chat here. We'll get to some of his thoughts in just 1 second, and that will give us plenty of time to hit this.
Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is Halftime Hangout with Jeremy Poplin.
Love that little ditty, Santoy. Gets better each and every time I hear it, as we have officially entered the halftime version of the halftime hangout here on the News 9 YouTube channel, also on X as well. If you have any questions in the chat, please feel free to send them. And I believe we're going to go straight into the arena. Now, we'll get to John very quickly because, 1, we'll see if he can hear us. 2, I don't know how long this connection will last with the amount of energy that's inside that building. John Holcomb, your thoughts on the first half so far? And
Could not agree more.
John, your either connection is not great or you are muted. I don't think that you're muted on there. So I had a feeling that this might be a little bit of a tough one tonight to fit in from the arena. But Aaron Alexander's joined us fresh off of an LSU championship today.
Go Tigers, baby.
I'm surprised you're not.
Tigers.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're still sober enough to even join us this evening. So outside of your,
I had to rally.
outside of your drunken stupor, what's let's just get this out of the way first. I know that you're a massive sports fan, so the Halliburton injury just sucks and kind of takes the air out of the building for something like this. We're all still here hoping that Oklahoma City can win a championship. But your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I think the Halliburton injury has kind of impacted the Thunder more than it's impacted the Pacers. Like, I feel like the Thunder, like, after that happened, the Thunder, it's natural to be like, they don't have their best player, so now it's going to be easier for us to win a championship. And the Pacers have, just continued to play their game of unselfish, moving the ball, get assists, fast pace, and the Thunder have kind of I don't think the Thunder have necessarily played bad on the offensive end. I would like to see a little bit more from Jalen Williams. But I think that the Pacers are still going to play their game no matter who's on the court.
John sent me a text message and said, "Hey, I tried. Too many missed opportunities so far. Sluggish on the defensive end with switches at time, and pressure can do that." Raven, what are your thoughts from the first half? We haven't had a really chance to hear your basketball opinion so far.
I love the energy that Alex Caruso came out with.
Yeah.
Just right off the bench, he made an impact. And also, I think we're finally winning the assist portion of this for once. Yeah. We're finally sharing the ball.
Because Halliburton's gone.
Yeah. I like Isaiah Hartenstein getting some valuable minutes early on, but yeah, it's game 7, and like Miles Turner said right after Halliburton went down, that you got to play for him and through him and with other people, and that's exactly what's happened. I mean, he sat down how many times in this game, and they still are able to keep it close. So I knew nothing was going to change in the score, and we all knew that only 5 minutes left in this game is when it's really going to get interesting.
So I thought that Cason Wallace comes in and he had a stat line for a brief moment. I'll see if I can find it here. But it wasn't anything that was overly impressive just with what he's done so far. But then the most impressive part was the 3 steals off of rebounds, the quick hands to slap the ball away to give Oklahoma City extra opportunities. Then he hits a 3. They needed more of that the other night in Game 6 because their bench was horrific in Game 6. So at the 7:14 mark, I'll have to check bench points here. But Alex Caruso at the 7:14 in the second quarter had already outscored the Pacers reserves by himself 8-7 at that point. So it's much better. They're going to need more of that moving into the second half.
I agree. I'm looking at the stats from the bench on each side. Yeah, just the fact that we've held Obi Toppin to 0 points when he was the leading scorer last game is huge, but it's always going to be somebody's night.
Yes.
Pop, can I swerve just a bit?
Sure.
So I have the halftime show up here, right, on the
Yep.
TV. I've lost count, but I think they've shown the Halliburton injury about a dozen times.
Can we stop?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like I pull a calf getting out of bed some mornings, but I don't need to see that. I don't. Show me the shot of him on the ground.
But this is where your expertise, though, you and Joe, like I'm seriously, this is an honest question because we see this a lot. Now, some networks are better than others. When an injury happens, they're just like, okay, here it is. We're going to show it one time and we're done. We can tell you. We know what this is. We saw it recoil into his calf for crying out loud. And okay, it's not the dislocation of the kneecap that's disgusting or the compound injury, but it's still just as gross to me. Why do we have to show this 50 times?
Like you got a great shot of his face and him pounding the floor. That's the money shot there. Give me the emotion. Don't give me the nasty. You know?
Show me his dad more. His dad's reaction afterwards.
Back there.
That was a great.
No, the more John Halliburton, the better. The video wise, be aside, that was the storyline. That his injury has been the storyline for a couple of days. But I will say, just to jump back what Raven was saying, if Obi Toppin has 0 points, I know Halliburton had 3 open threes in the first half that were very important for them for their start. And we're still close, so they're still doing it, and they have now no more of those Halliburton points, and they're not getting it from the last leading scorer. But no, as far as showing the injury, gross stuff, no, you got to limit that. And there's children. It's let's show some respect and not show something gruesome ever, especially repeatedly.
Yeah, there's also a 40-plus-year-old that doesn't want to see that again, and myself. Like I'm just like, okay, like yep, that's an Achilles injury. By the way, I'm convinced that Bob Myers' hair is a wig. I don't know if anyone else is with me or not. I'm just convinced there's no way that dude has that head of hair still.
Is that the guy in a navy tie?
Yes.
Great,
yeah,
he's great hair.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I know. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm a little
definitely.
jealous because that's a heck of a head of hair that Bob Myers has for sure.
I don't know why Bob Myers has that chair right now. No one knows who he is. He used to work for the Warriors in their upper office. Design the teams, the Steph Curry teams, but he doesn't deserve a seat at that chair. That's for sure.
I thought it was really funny, and Matt Kalish will like this. I saw a tweet that was like, the NHL gives us Wayne Gretzky, during intermission reports, and the NBA gives us Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah. So, I have so many hot takes about the about the NBA countdown crew and the whole studio dynamic, but that's more of a halftime rant than a halftime hangout there.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I will say that maybe with a little air out of the arena, man, the tension that has to be there right now that we're getting ready to see heading into the third quarter. This is leading to so much heartbreak for one of these franchises. Think about it. The Pacers lose, they'll have the ultimate excuse, which is, well, Halliburton goes down. Well, if Oklahoma City doesn't pull this out, think of how they're going to feel with having Halliburton out and not being able to pull it off. The third and fourth quarter and Game 7's, the stat that I put it on news9.com, news on6.com as well. I wrote a history of Game 7. But I believe we've got to go back. The last 15 Game 7s, I think, have all been single-digit games, won by an average of like 4 or 5 points. So we knew this one was going to be close. Heck, we haven't had a 100-point Game 7 since, I think, 88 in the NBA playoffs. So it's been a long time since we've seen a scenario play out like that. And I have a feeling the way this one is going, this one's going to come right down to the wire as well. And there's going to be so much just anxious energy that's in that building with that crowd.
I'll be really interested to see which guys each coach's each coach goes with down the stretch, especially when we get into the fourth quarter. Now, especially with Halliburton now, does that mean that TJ McConnell is playing more minutes?
I
Does
think
that
it's
reduce?
Matherin.
Yeah, does that reduce, TJ McConnell's effectiveness if he has to play, if he has to play Tyrese Halliburton minutes? Be interested to see if Dagnall keeps the double big in there, if he closes with the double big, or if he's closing with Caruso or Cason Wallace or whichever one is making threes.
But
He's
that's the
been
problem, though.
closing with Caruso almost this
That's
whole
the problem,
series.
though, with when Oklahoma City goes that smaller lineup. You guys saw it. There were times when it was Turner who ended up on Wallace, right?
Yeah, I think
when they
that
go
they get
small.
into whenever they don't have the double bigs, I think they get into some really bad switches, like switches that aren't necessarily forced. Um, and I think the Pacers are really good at obviously picking apart on bad switches.
I think Kaysen and Caruso will both be on the floor in the final 2 minutes.
I'm not a Pacers fan by any means, but I do want to give Nembhard the credit where it's due of guarding Shea Gilgeous-Alexander this entire series through 7 games.
Yeah.
And just how much you have to think, and everybody knows this, even in college, in high school, when you're guarding the best player, you're face guarding them almost all 48 minutes. And it's so hard. And the fact that he's done that through 7 games and has made him have a lot of missed turnovers and, missed opportunities, has forced a lot of things that you don't usually see from Shea. So I do want to give him a little bit of credit.
All right, let's hit the chat for a second, because when this gentleman sends something in the chat, I think we're almost required to show it. Everyone knows this individual, right?
Andy.
Wade.
Oh, Wade.
This is what a Game 7 should feel like. You can cut the tension with a knife in this place.
Spot on.
Spot on, man. Absolutely spot on. I have some numbers for you here. Pacers are leading at halftime in a game where, and this may not make you feel very good, Thunder have a 20 to 12 point advantage in the paint. Thunder have a free throw advantage, 9-8. They have a rebound advantage, 22 to 20, and they have a turnover advantage, 9-5. But the big difference here is that the Pacers have twice as many threes as OKC. So the road woes on shooting the three have translated over back home to Paycom so far in the first half, which is not good. And Mark has talked about, we have to shoot a higher volume of threes. He was upset that night when they only shot 17, when they went 3 of 17. He was like shooting 17. Like we're back to playing an early 2002 version of basketball here. We have to shoot a higher volume.
Well, and it's not just a higher volume; it's the right threes, right?
Yep.
So I think the Thunder take a lot of contested threes, and that can be good if you're drawing the fouls, but they're not. They're going fishing and they're catching nothing.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Also, before that last second three, half of those threes were Tyrese Halliburton in the first 4 minutes of the game.
I do want to address this. This is from Alex Alberto. I said, why do these Achilles injuries keep happening? It's a trend now. Stretching, dieting, the court, sneakers. Well, but fun fact, if this is fun for you, this is now the third Pacers Achilles injury this season. They've had 3 guys go down with Achilles injuries. Joe and I were talking about this before everyone got on. My opinion is that we play basketball now October. They're playing year-round, basically, but NBA camp, October, and look, they're almost playing through July. I mean, what we're stressing on the human body now, trying to stretch these seasons out, I think you're going to continue to have injuries like this as we stretch the bounds of physical performance with trying to maintain health. I think that we're at a limit now where we've hit in terms of what we can do just physically with the human body in general. I think you're going to continue to see more of these happen.
Well, and Adam Silver was asked leading into the NBA Finals media days. He was asked, about it shortening the season, and he absolutely shot that down and said there was no reason to be doing that. But a real reason that they were talking about is the injuries that these players sustain. But obviously,
gotta go to a 75 game schedule.
And Achilles is so tough because it's such a long, hard recovery. Like
Yeah.
look at the three so far, right? You look at Tatum. That Celtics team's probably getting blown up in the next 3 weeks.
Yep.
The Bucks may not be far behind with whatever Giannis does. What does this mean for Indiana going into next year? Because you can make the case that they're a top 3 team in the East with Halliburton. I don't know what this team looks like
It,
without him.
Yeah,
it
I
depends
know.
it depends how serious it is, but no, it's almost a season and a half. It's 18 months, right? This is so it these teams are figuring out what are they going to do during that 2-year span.
Both the Pacers and the Celtics are now out of the mix in the East next season. Like
Yep.
they're both gone.
Unless the
Which-
Pacers pull some sort of wizardry and get Giannis out of Milwaukee. I read that earlier today, which
Well,
would be insane.
we do have the NBA draft this week, and
Yeah, which is nuts.
I think things are gonna stir up quickly.
Think about that. I mean, depending on what happens here, and I was laughing with Steve McGeehee about this earlier. He was like, dude, I'm off to Brooklyn by the time Wednesday comes around. For the draft, and then he was like, "Summer League starts July 5th." So I mean, to the point of it's so much basketball for some of these guys now. Not the stars aren't going to be playing out there in the Utah Summer League. I want to get one more in off the stream. So this is from Zachariah. I love this. He's like, "Hey, I'm out delivery driving in Western Oklahoma. Appreciate you. Can you give me a quick summarization of how it's been going? Seems like it's just been close the entire way through. It has. It's been back and forth. What's the largest lead? Is the largest lead been 5? I think that we've seen
5 or 7. Yeah,
Right around that. Yeah.
Both sides have been 5.
Yeah, and it's just it seemed like both teams were a little bit stunned when Tyrese Halliburton went down with what appears to be an Achilles injury. So, Zachariah, appreciate you watching along
We're at
here.
Western Oklahoma. We have a Western Oklahoma girlie right here. We need to find out where he's at.
We'll find out if he's out dropping off a package near your area,
I
Raven.
wouldn't doubt it. My
All right.
got him.
As we get closer to the start of the second half, let's go around the table. We'll start with Aaron. Give me a few things that you want to see in the second half.
I need to see a better and more aggressive Jalen Williams for the Thunder. I think that he passed up a couple. I think that he passed up a couple of open shots there late in that second quarter. He needs to be aggressive, both going to the basket and with his jump shot. And I think the Thunder need to not be so careless with their switches and really force these Pacers guards to play well without Tyrese Halliburton.
Raven?
Well, they just went with Matherin to come out in the second half, like I figured. We need to settle him down because when he gets hot because that's who they're going to go to shoot those all-important threes when it comes down to it, is what I believe, because he's just such a sharpshooter. So they need to be very good on defense. I'm not really worried about the offensive side, and I think Aaron mentioned this a couple games ago that he wasn't so much set on our offense, but more about the Pacers defense, and I agree, and I think that our defense should step up in this game.
By the way, Zachariah is out in Weatherford, Raven, and he's delivering pizzas tonight. So appreciate the update on that.
Bulldogs.
Yeah, from one former pizza delivery person to a current one. Thank you, sir, for your service. Kalish, a couple of quick hits.
I echo what Aaron said about Jalen Williams. He's got to come out hard here. I think if the Thunder start to get momentum, if they go on a run, they've got to finish that. They've got the home crowd. They've got the better roster on paper. They just need to capitalize on any momentum they get, because at this point, this game's been all Indiana. Even with the Halliburton injury, they've looked sharper. And gosh, Mark, I would not love. It's just tough for Mark. I don't know how you manage the bench and the rotation, and it's going to be fun. Buckle up.
Here's quick numbers before we go to you, Joe. 10 points on 11 shots for Chet and J-Dub. That's not going to get it. OKC shooting 40% from the floor, 22% from three. Non-Halliburton Pacers are shooting 39%, 9 assists to 8 turnovers, and they're up at half. Chet does just get on the board right there. Joe, quickly from you.
Bob, I want to see some Thunder ball and not Pacer ball. We've had dominating quarters. We've had dominating halves. We've had dominating games against these guys. It'd be a great time to see one of those performances again in the next hour.
And the final comment comes from Andy. Prepare for history's single biggest half in the history of Thunder is about to
What a
happen.
shot. Sorry, Dort just hit a 3 from the logo, basically, out of wherever what speed was.
Yeah, I'm
Thunderball.
probably behind a little bit on you. Was it did it almost hit the rafter? Because he's got such an incredible arc on his 3-point shot. It's
It
unbelievable.
definitely did.
Yeah, top of the key, a little bit further back.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. Let's watch the end of this one, and hopefully when we come back, we're talking about a championship for the Oklahoma City Thunder. My goodness, there's that Dort 3 that just happened. Yeah, you're right, right from the edge of the logo on the court. Everyone,
He
I
hit that from
appreciate you.
Weatherford.
He did while he was delivering a pizza. Kalish, appreciate you. Joe, Aaron, Raven, Chloe for jumping in as well. And to all of you, we'll be back for a post-game show, win or lose for the Oklahoma City Thunder, right here on the News 9 YouTube channel and on X as well. We'll see you after the game and Thunder up.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma Zone digital studio stream. Stay with News 9, online and on television, anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.